resistance is futile.
Boldly going where no show has gone before. This is the Week in Geek with David D. Squared, your source for geek and pop culture news that's trending now. Broadcasting from the Gregory Ricks and Associates Wealth Management Studios, here's D. Squared.
Greetings, people of Earth! This is the Week in Geek, your source for geek and pop culture news that's trending now. I'm your host, D. Squared. All right, let me lay out the show for you real quick. We're going to do some top nerd news. We got some Marvel What If. We got some Transformers. We got some Snake Eyes. We got billionaires in space. And then my boy Skungy with Ratchet and Clank review. I have Colman Domingo. He is from Fear the Walking Dead. He's got a new movie out called Zola. And we're going to be talking about him and that pimp-ass suit he wore to the Oscars. And then we're going to wrap it all up with my boy Skungy and I talking about the episode 5 of Loki and Marvel's Black Widow, which we waited, I guess, roughly 2 years now for. So was it worth the wait? I don't know. Stick around. If you haven't seen it, we'll let you know. But let's first do this. And now, your top nerd news stories from around the world, brought to you by the Viridian Tea Company. Find them on Etsy. And now, your top nerd news stories. All right, topping us off in our top nerd news is Marvel's What If. They dropped another trailer with there's so much stuff in this thing that I wasn't even sure what I was looking at most of the time. But here, take a listen to this.
Yeah, peace. I love peace. I'd be out of a job with peace. Do we know each other?
So, Skungy, do you know who that was who just saved Tony Stark in this new What If series?
Killmonger!
It's freaking Killmonger, and it's most likely going to be King Killmonger who is taking over Wakanda, but he's a noble king as opposed to what he was in that. But here it keeps going.
Time. Reality. It's changeable.
Where you want to be? That's the question, isn't it?
Every universe is different. Each one unique.
Slow down a little bit. There's a few people in the room that don't understand.
We know each other. He's a friend from work. Dude, one of the things, we still got a little more of this trailer, but one of the things that I really like is they brought back all the voice guys, with the exception of Robert Downey Jr. Everybody else plays themselves, and so we get a little bit more when the shards shatter. You get to hear from the Watcher coming up, and then you get to hear from Chadwick Boseman.
Not me, I get it.
Who are you?
The name's Captain Carter.
Yes.
Peggy Carter.
and that was Arnim Zola, and he said shy, and I had to blank bleep it because he said the German word for poo-poo.
I'm the Watcher. I observe all that transpires here, but I do not, cannot, will not interfere. I guess I have to freestyle then.
We have you outnumbered.
A Ravager never flies solo.
There he is.
I said never flies solo.
Is that some kind of catchphrase?
Look at me, I'm Mary Poppins, y'all.
You had me worried for a second.
Journey to face the unknown and ponder the question. What if?
Oh my God. I got freaking goosebumps, dude. August 11th on Disney Plus. I mean, I know we've covered this ground before, but I mean, I have a good chunk of the entire What If series because it was always such a great, just to see what would happen, and it was just a fun thought exercise. But then this one, you've got T'Challa basically being Star-Lord, and then, you've got Peggy Carter as Captain America, or Captain Britain, I guess. And, I mean, you got the zombies showing up. I mean, this show just looks so dope, man.
I know. I'm so glad that they actually decided to play around with it, because What If has always been one of the most fun experiments in the Marvel universe, from those comic books.
Well, and the thing was, there were some times I would read a What If and I had no clue what was going on, because sometimes there were some deep cuts with characters that might not have been so well known, storylines that maybe I didn't know about. Not saying I know all the things about comic books, but with this one, you don't have to be a comic book junkie because it's all based off of the Marvel movies and TV series. So you don't have to go and read the entire Marvel, library to understand what's going on in this. And looking forward to tonight's show, Colman Domingo, our guest. He was in the last movie with Chadwick Boseman, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. And actually, I did not get a chance to talk to him about that because we got on this crazy side tangent. But this will be Chadwick Boseman's final, I guess, piece, because it's a cartoon, so it's his final voice work. Yeah. But Ma Rainey's was the last appearance that he made on the big screen. All right, moving on. Let's talk a little bit about Transformers: The War for Cybertron. The third installment comes out on July 29th, and this just has me I excited, and then I don't know, kind of meh.
Prime, we don't have much time. There is something I need you to do.
I am on a mission to recover the Allspark. Understand how close we are. It is here, on this planet.
So, where are your intruders?
Cue the dinosaurs.
Failure is quite impossible. This golden disc has given me untold advantage. The things I could accomplish now. Possibility.
What in all of Primus?
They're like us.
We were waiting for you.
Now, one of the things that they're one of us. You've got, it's basically Beast Wars, Skungy. You've got, the cheetahs and they're transforming into Transformers. But then you've got dinosaurs, and I don't know. I never watched Beast Wars. Now you have, so I'm kind of like meh on the whole Beast Wars thing, because I don't know. I'm a purist at heart, man. I just want old school Soundwave and Starscream. But tell me about it.
So this is what I'll say. Beast Wars, where the animation dated. Oh my God, it's so dated. It's so hard to go back and watch it. I'll give it that. But the story of Beast Wars it felt far more mature. It felt more grown up than the past Transformers did. It had a very overarching storyline, and that's why I was drawn into the Beast Wars. And it was in the mid 90s, I want to say, is when that came out. And I loved Beast Wars.
Yeah, I mean, look, I have been very impressed with this series, because you even got, the evil Optimus Prime showing up, Galvatron in this weird sub-dimension that they're in. The thing is, I think that this is kind of like a re-origin, like a retelling of the origin stuff, but I've been on board with it because they've been really close to the source material, not making up stupid crap. They're just kind of retelling it because they never really delved into it in the comics, or well, I guess maybe IDW did, but like in the movies and things like that. So I really like what they're doing with this. So I am completely excited to see this final installment of the War for Cybertron trilogy. So I'll say that much, okay?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I really, so far what I've seen of it, I really enjoy it. And I mean, it gets more people interested in Transformers. I mean, you got a whole new generation of people that are going to be following.
Well, exactly, and they're putting out toys again, and so people are going to go out there and buy those toys. Come on, let's not fool ourselves, because that's what this all boils down to. Transformers, the cartoon, was to help sell toys. G.I. Joe, the cartoon, was to help sell toys. And here is Snake Eyes and Paramount working to, like, I don't know, trash their own movie. Listen to this, man.
Careful, kids. Electricity can have shocking results.
No time, Gung-Ho.
Stop, drop, and roll.
Catch you later, Roadblock.
Always watch out for Cobra. Whatever you say, Lady Jane.
Easier.
Whoa, Snake Eyes.
It looks like Snake Eyes has something to say.
Snake Eyes doesn't talk.
Actually, I'm Henry Golding.
Henry Golding?
I play Snake Eyes in the new movie.
There's a Snake Eyes movie?
Wait, you made a Snake Eyes movie without us?
No, just without you guys.
Storm Shadow.
That hurts.
Cool your jets, Duke.
See, kids, sometimes friends need time apart to explore what makes them mysterious ninja assassins. Friends understand giving each other space.
What about enemies?
Cobra!
Will you reboot?
It's an origin story.
It's an origin story.
Henry Golding is a badass.
I'm Snake Eyes.
Now you know.
Knowing is half the battle.
I'm Snake Eyes. He's not supposed to talk. Just I'm Henry Golding. This thing makes my head pop, Skungy, because it's like, I love how the humor is, because like it's Robot Chicken, you were telling me that's the same people who made this this air quote PSA. But that's about the funniest part of it, because then it's like, oh, good luck with your reboot. It's an origin story. And this is what just kind of boggles my brain, is that, you've got all this great source material, but right out the gate, you got him talking. And I don't know, man, I feel like I'm beating this dead horse, but I found this quote from Henry Golding, and this just makes my eyes pop even more, because he was asked if they are considering follow-ups to the Snake Eyes origin movie. He goes, I know for a fact that they're already in the works. Speaking to Lorenzo de Bonaventura, our producer, they're already thinking, because we can take this anywhere. But depending on how Snake Eyes does in telling specific stories, will tell us where we want to take and how to expand the universe. Because if we jump into a huge G.I. Joe universe and introduce 12 characters, people are going to be like, oh, well, yeah, okay, that guy's cool. That guy does this thing. But then they don't know anything about them. So to be able to build the characters from day one, I think, is the real gift. Kiss my ass, Henry Golding, you hack piece of crap. Oh my God. The whole reason they put more and more G.I. Joes out there is to sell the damn toys, and I didn't need to know anything about Shipwreck other than he was in the Navy and he had a dumb bird and a stupid hat. Okay, Tripwire, he tripped over things and planted mines. It was not deep character exploration, for the love of all that's holy.
Oh my God! Look. At least look. With that PSA, I'll say this: they're steering into the skid. All right, they're like taking it full on. Like, hey, we know this is probably silly and stupid, and most people are going to crap on our movie, so let's just take full advantage of it.
Well, perhaps they are sort of, like trying to be like, hey, don't go into it thinking, real serious. But I mean, the actors are already saying, oh yeah, we can explore them, because I really need to know that Gung-Ho is Cajun, and in the comic books, he'd always go, oh yeah, make that there gumbo. And Roadblock used to always just sing crap all the time because he thought he was a Motown singer. I don't need the character explanation. Okay, I don't.
We're going to get a Chuckles movie eventually, I guarantee
my God,
it.
Yeah. That Chuckles was an easy one to cosplay, too. You just buy a Hawaiian shirt and bada bing, bada boom, you're G.I. Joe. There you go. All right, before we go to break, talking about, I don't know, I have no good segue for this, billionaires in space. Sir Richard Branson launched himself into space this morning, and it was pretty cool. He did the one where it's flying on two planes, and then they ignite the boosters once they're almost at the apogee or whatever. And so he was in space, but he did send us a tweet. So apparently, tweets from space.
To all you kids down there, I was once a child with a dream, looking up to the stars. Now I'm an adult in a spaceship with lots of other wonderful adults looking down to our beautiful, beautiful Earth. To the next generation of dreamers, if we can do this, just imagine what you can do. Hey!
If you have $1 billion, you can buy a ticket on me spaceship. Dreamers, make sure you give me your money, dreamers. Oh, my God. All right. Well, I love the fact that America and capitalism has allowed the private industry to shoot themselves into space. That is awesome. But don't try to sell me some crap about it. You can do it in space, too, because I'm a billionaire. And the next billionaire, Jeff Bezos, is shooting his ass into space in 9 days from now. So there you go, billionaires.
Branson just wanted to be the first one.
Yeah, because Bezos said he was going up, and so Branson put himself on the very next flight. He's like, nope, got to be the first billionaire up there. All right, when we come back, Ratchet and Clank review with our boy Skungy and his pick of the week. This is the Week in Geek on News Talk 99.5 WRNO. Hey y'all, D Squared here, and I'm joined by a special guest, the Go Forblin, to bring you a special announcement. That's right. Go 4 Games, your friendly neighborhood game shop since 2010, is moving to 4953 West Napoleon Avenue in the Napoleon Plaza. Keep up to date with the move and Go 4Blin's adventure on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Go4GamesNola and Go4GamesNola.com. What's that? Oh, he says he can't wait for you to see his new pick of location at 4953 West Napoleon Avenue.
This is Kate Mulgrew for the Week in Geek. Just kidding. It's Mary Elizabeth McGlynn, the Major from Ghost in the Shell. Listen, or the Tachicomas are gonna get you.
Welcome back into the Week in Geek, your source for geek and pop culture news that's trending now. I'm your host, D Squared. Now, as always, I want to strongly urge you to check out the Facebook page, facebook.com/The Week in Geek. Check out our website or not at twigradio.com. Follow us on Twitter at twigradio and the Instagrams of The Week in Geek. Now, Skungy, how can people listen to this show?
Well, if you missed any part of tonight's show or you want to hear your favorite part again, you can always find us on Spreaker.com or download Spreaker on your smartphone or tablet. We're also on Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube, iTunes, and the iHeartRadio app.
Skungy's Pick of the Week.
I am not what you would call a handsome man.
I love lamp. I love lamp.
Skungy's Pick of the Week.
He might be an idiot savant.
All right, Skungy, what are we talking about today? Ratchet and Clank?
Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. Now, I'm going to tell you, this game is the Ratchet and Clank series is my second favorite platforming series from the PlayStation 2 era. I mean, it's hands down. Sly Cooper is my favorite, but this one is my second favorite, and I absolutely love it. It's had a very, very long list of games that have been in this series. Now, this is it's one of the first exclusive games to the PlayStation 5.
Okay.
They've had a couple of them, but this is the first, I would say, AAA title that is on the PlayStation 5.
And this was the one that we had talked about, I guess, a year ago or so? When they had, you kept bouncing from universe to universe, kind of like sliders or something?
Yeah. You went from... Sliders. So the premise of the game is there was this Dimensionator where Clank gives Ratchet this thing so he can go and find his people, his Lombax people.
Okay.
Well, Dr. Nefarious comes up and steals the thing so he can jump between dimensions, and the thing gets broken and all the dimensions get all mixed up. Now, this game, in my opinion, and I've been playing a lot of PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X since the systems have come out, just trying to, give them a good road test, see what looks good, what doesn't. This is by far the best looking game on the PlayStation 5.
Really?
The best way I can describe it is that it looks like you're playing a Pixar movie.
I really, thinking back when we did this, watching the video, because it was a long video. They had a lot of playthrough stuff for this game, and it really had that vibrant colors where it just, and it didn't look like, everything belonged. It didn't look like, there was just like a weird background. Everything was like part of the scenery, and it all looked like it belonged. It all looked like one cohesive thing. So I get what you're saying, and so you're saying that it looks even better than what they were trying to sell us it as, right?
Yeah, and it has two different modes, and this is something that's going to be going forward with a lot of games. It has a performance mode, and it has a fidelity mode. So you have the option to have the picture look better, have like a clearer picture with the draw distance and whatnot and the ray tracing, or you can have the frame rate up higher. So you can have a better picture with a lower frame rate, or you can have a lower picture with a higher frame rate where it moves faster. And that's something that's
idea.
And I played it on the higher the visual mode, and I mean it looked beautiful. But the frame rate wasn't anything to shrug at. I mean, it played very, very well. Now, I put it on the high frame rate mode, and it played a little bit faster, a little bit smoother, but it wasn't anything that made you go like, oh, my God, this is a big difference. No, but the visuals were a big difference.
Am I supposed to understand what you're saying? The frame
Some
rate,
people will understand.
Okay, I mean, I guess in layman's terms, like if I'm watching a video on the internet on my phone, is frame rate better or whatever the other word you said is better?
The frame rate, it means the motion of it moves faster.
So, right, so the motion in my videos that I watch on my phone, the frame rate that's what I want?
The best way I can describe it, when you look at newer TVs and you have that feeling of it looks like when people are moving, it looks very real.
Okay.
As opposed to looking cinematic, that's what a frame rate does.
Okay, that now I understand why I'm watching things. I'm like, oh, I feel like I'm really there. Okay, moving on.
Yeah. So, Ratchet and Clank is always been a story about these two characters. Ratchet, who's a Lumbax, and Clank, who's a little robot, and they go through all these adventures fighting these big enemies, going from world to world. Well, this one is a little different because you're like I said, you have these dimensions that you're going into, and you find this other character, this other Lumbax, who's like a mirror image of a female version of Ratchet, and you have a female version of a Clank as well. So you have a whole different story, and their story is kind of a little bit darker than what's happened, because Ratchet and Clank had this all kind of like, oh, fun and games. Yeah, sure, you rascal, nefarious and everything. You're a doctor and you're trying to take over. Where in their dimension, it's kind of like, oh yeah, I'm an emperor and I've oppressed people and I've ripped your arm off.
Okay.
So it's a little bit darker storylines that you're used to with the Ratchet and Clank, but the core of the Ratchet and Clank are these weapons, always getting the most ridiculous weapons you can ever get in a video game. For instance, there's the topiary spray, where you shoot this little sprinkler out that sits there, and anything it hits, it turns it into a garden statue.
Okay.
Then you have these little jellyfish that you shoot out, and they will jump out next to you and start shooting all your enemies. Or you have the pixelator, which when you shoot an enemy, it turns into a pixelized version of itself.
Nice.
Or you have these little, they're like, they jump into the ground, and they're almost like land sharks. They burrow through the ground and jump up and attack people.
Okay.
Or the Rhino, which stands for Rip You a New One.
Oh, is that the one where it kills like 5 people at once or something like that?
This thing legitimately, when you fire it, it opens up a dimensional portal and will drop stuff on your enemy. It could be anything from a rock to a battleship to Sly Cooper. I'm not even joking.
Dumb. I love it.
So the Ratchet and Clank series, I mean, it's really near and dear to my heart. And this one is just, they could have rested on their laurels with this game. They could have, hey, we're just going to do the same thing. And they did enough where it feels familiar, but it does enough different where you're like, okay, I feel like this is something new. They have a new game plus where you can go through and completely with all of your weapons, you're upgrading them. You're getting experience for them. So you're going to keep using them so they get powerful and more stronger and everything like that. Well, when you do the new game plus, you keep those levels and then you can go up another 10 levels on your weapons.
Okay.
And so it gives you an incentive to go back to it. And like I said, with the new weapons that they've had, the great story that this is actually one of the best stories in the Ratchet and Clank, and I can't wait to see where they go in the future with it. And just, I mean, this is probably, like I said, it is the prettiest PlayStation 5 game I have seen yet. If you want to know what it's like to play a Pixar movie, this is the game for you.
All right, so price and platform, but you said it's a PlayStation exclusive, right? So it's just on that?
Yeah, it's a PlayStation 5 exclusive because of that whole dimension hopping thing. I didn't even say about that.
Oh, yeah, because the refresh rate, like the loading screens, there's no loading screen, right?
There's no loading screens. You're literally jumping from an entire world to another world instantaneous. You can't do that on the current hardware. You can only do that on next gen. So it's PlayStation 5 exclusive. And with that, it's $69.99 because we've gone up, everything with the next gen has gone up $10. So,
right.
But I mean, this is a fantastic game. I can't suggest it enough, and you will enjoy it.
There we go. All right. So
if you can get a PlayStation 5.
Oh, yeah. I guess you got to put that little caveat in there. All right, yeah. Skungy. Coming up next, we got our man Colman Domingo from Fear the Walking Dead. His new movie Zola is out now, so we'll be talking with him next. This is The Week in Geek on News Talk 99.5 WRNO. Box tea again? Why don't you try the tea blends from the Viridian Tea Company? They sell blends that are guaranteed to make you think outside the box. With blends like Quantum Mechanics, Caligula's Herbal Nerve Tonic, and Manta Ray Dreaming, your tea experience will be out of this world. Look for the blends at Tubby & Coo's Mid-City Bookshop at 432 North Anthony Street or online at Etsy at the Viridian Tea Company. So put down the box and order some tea from the Viridian Tea Company today. Sincerely, your taste buds.
In From the Storm, Fanzine highlights Black female characters in comics and sci-fi. The fanzine is for and by Black women, featuring original artwork, interviews, and cultural criticism. As Black women fans, we have unique perspectives that are often silenced and discouraged in mainstream outlets. In From the Storm is a shelter from the storm, a place for Black women to gather, learn, and discuss our Black female nerddom. Find them at infromthestormzine.com or at In From the Storm on Facebook.
Now back to The Week in Geek with D Squared. Tell your friends, tell your enemies. Yeah, definitely tell your enemies.
Welcome back into The Week in Geek, your source for geek and pop culture news that's trending now. I'm your host, D Squared. Let's go to the guest line. Actor, singer, director, playwright, and the pimp who rocked the pink suit at the Oscars, Colman Domingo, joins us. Colman, how are you doing today, sir?
Great. What a great introduction. The pimp who wore the pink suit at the Oscars.
Dude, that suit was tight, man. That was awesome. Now, Colman,
thanks,
so Zola is out now in theaters, and this movie, I mean, when I first saw the trailer, I gotta be honest, I cringed because I knew women just like that. I still know a few of them, but Zola, tell the folks about this movie, because this seems like it's like the storytelling pattern of like the digital social media age.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It was ripped straight from Twitter, actually. Asia King first tweeted this story out, and
people were either watching it online in real time, or people found out about it eventually, and they thought it was the wildest tale. It basically it's two young women who go from Detroit to Tampa, Florida, to make some money over the weekend to just strip at some clubs. They want part of the American dream like anyone else, and they're like, hey, they're young and fun, let's go dance. And then they get caught up in a whole bunch of other things. You don't realize that one of the girls, her roommate, is actually her pimp. And so, of course, hilarity, drama, terror, and some wild things ensue. So it is a wild. It's not really a morality tale. I think it's just really a story of a wild weekend, and then people can unpack from it what they will. So I think it's really cool, and I think it's fun. We just killed it in the box office this past week, which was great. And so I hope that love keeps going, because I think it's really a great movie to get people out in the movie theaters again.
And Colman Domingo is our guest here. You talk about the American dream. That kind of like your character, X, the nameless pimp, in essence. Like, he's chasing the American dream too, because he's not from America, right?
Absolutely, he's a man of Nigerian descent, and I think that I don't know. I don't know what this gentleman, what the real gentleman, what his motivations for doing what he was doing. But I want them to make his story a story, because I had to find out what I love about the character. That's the wild thing about playing a dark character like this. You have to figure out what makes him tick, what dreams that he wants, you name it. And so once I found that he was a Nigerian guy, I wanted to take some theatrical license with him and really just say, oh, from his point of view, it's an immigrant story. Maybe he doesn't have his papers. Maybe he's trying to get the American dream like everyone else, and this is what his access is to trafficking young women. It's terrible and awful, but I think that's the way I sort of had to justify his motivations for doing things, so I can make a full character out of him. So, yeah, man, he's that's what he's doing, and that's the role that I play. And it's weird to say I've had a good time playing him, because I'm such a feminist, but it is a good time because it's going into the psychology of the character that I haven't played before.
Exactly. Colman Domingo as our guest. You also play, people should know that you were Victor Strand in Fear the Walking Dead, but also you directed a few of those episodes, one of the first cast members in like the Walking Dead universe to do that. How did that come about, man?
It came about through Gail Ann Hurd. Now, Gail Ann Hurd is one of the greatest producers that's living. She sort of shepherded in James Cameron. And I took her to go see a production of mine that I directed at the Gaffin Playhouse. And she turns to me at the end and says, "You should direct television." And I said, "Sure." And then we began the journey of directing on my own show. And it's been great and rewarding, and I love my cast and my crew. And I really flourished into a director. I had no idea that would be my wheelhouse, television directing, but it feels like a great match.
One of the things that I feel a sort of kindred spirit with you is that you didn't receive some of this commercial fame until later in life. And that's something that, you didn't give up. I mean, wasn't there a point where you were like, maybe you were just kind of throw in the towel and just be a photographer and just continue not to say anything about your amazing acting theater career, but, that's it. What you were about to give up, right?
That was exactly Yeah, man. Right before I booked Fear the Walking Dead, I was actually going to go into my own photography business. That was something that was my side hustle. I had many side hustles, and one of them was doing headshots. And it was just because I've been doing it for a long time. And when you're doing it for a long time, you're just a workhorse like myself. Sometimes you may get tired of the ups and downs of the business. I had great critical success. I was nominated for Tony Awards and things like that. And I thought maybe that was as far as my career should go. So I sort of questioned it, and I thought, well, maybe this is the end of the road, and it's trying to do something else because I wanted to have the things that other people have. It's hard being, I have many friends who are just such incredible actors who are working hard. But sometimes, sometimes you can't pay the bills, sometimes you can pay the bills. And I got tired of that roller coaster, and I was about to step off of it. And then I had the blessing of joining this very commercially viable television series. It's been a huge gift for me. And I've continued to do the work that I care about. And I still work in the theater, and I still work on different platforms. But I have a bit more agency in the world now after working for 31 years. I can actually make choices about the things that they do, which is great.
That is awesome. Colman Domingo is our guest. The play Dot is going around the country as well, and like I'm down here in New Orleans, and they actually ran some of it, ran a series of it up in Baton Rouge, man. So
yeah.
Tell me the playwright business. I mean, it's just like I know you've lived and breathed theater your entire life. How hard was it to kind of step back and sort of just write those plays? Like I can't wrap my mind around that, man. That's tough.
You know, it's why I like to say that usually I'm a storyteller, and I don't have to always be on stage or in front of a character, in front of a camera. I just like telling stories, so I will sit in my office and tell a story when I have time. So I'm always doing all things at all times. Like I just wrote a musical. I'm still, possibly will direct for the stage. I go back and forth between mediums because it's all the same thing to me. So it's never really an issue stepping back or forward. It's all a different part of my brain with telling a story. So I think that's the thing that's most important for me,
That is awesome. Zola is out now in theaters. One final question before we let you roll out. Look, you got Candyman coming up. It's sitting in the wings right now. If you had to fight, if you had to fight Candyman or a total herd of walkers, which would you choose to fight, man?
I think I would choose to fight a whole herd of walkers because I know how to do that. I think my skill set is I know how to get to them. I know you just have to basically hit them in the brain and get rid of them, and they move pretty slow. Now Candyman, oh man, I just did the legend, the myth about Candyman. I'm terrified to see it 5 times in the mirror, and I'm terrified of what he would do. It's a dude, brother running around with a hook in his arm. That's terrifying. I don't want to meet up with them.
And all them bees, and it's just terrible, man. So look, hey, I could listen to you read an instruction manual. Do you do any sort of voice acting work?
I do voice acting work. I'm actually doing an animation project right now with DreamWorks. And yeah, man, I've done some other animation work for what was it? BoJack Horseman, American Dad. Every so often, the people really listen. They can actually hear my voice playing a character.
That is awesome. Colman Domingo, Zola is out now. Thank you so much for your time today. I truly do appreciate it, man.
Oh, you're very welcome, my friend.
All right, and you still got that pink suit, right?
I wish I did. That went right back to Donald Versace.
Damn it! Oh, all right, Colman. Thank you. Thank you, bro. All right, bye-bye.
Brother.
That was Colman Domingo. When we come back, we'll wrap up tonight's show with spoiler alerts. Spoiler alerts coming up next. We're going to be spoiling Loki, episode 5. Only got one more coming up on Wednesday. And we're going to be talking about Black Widow. We waited a year and some change for it. We'll tell you what we thought. Skungy and I both saw it. So stick around. This is The Week in Geek on News Talk 99.5 WRNO. What do you get the nerd who has everything? A gift card from D4 Tabletop Gaming Cafe, and let them figure it out. D4 Tabletop Gaming Cafe at 8228 Oak Street is open for the holidays, so head over and check out their expanded inventory of miniatures and miniature paints, board games, RPGs, TCGs, or you can reserve a table for your next game night. Find them on Facebook at D4 Tabletop Gaming Cafe, or go to their location at 8228 Oak Street, just 2 blocks off of Carrollton, or go to their website at d4cafe.biz. Tubby & Coos Mid-City Bookshop invites you to browse their specially curated collection at tubbyandcoos.com. While the store at 432 North Anthony Street may be closed for browsing, you can order online and have it shipped directly to you, or stop by for porch pickups. Follow them on social media for updates and virtual events at Tubby & Coos on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So toss a coin to your bookkeeper and help Tubby & Coos, the nerd mecca, survive the pandemic and 2020. Go to tubbyandcoos.com today.
My name is Optimus Prime, and you are listening to the...
Starscream here, and you are listening to The Week in Geek. Call me Lord.
welcome back into the Week in Geek, your source for geek and pop culture news that's trending now. I'm your host, D Squared. Along for the ride is my boy, Skungy. Skungy, what's shaking, bacon?
Not a whole lot. We got some spoilers coming up.
We do. We have some spoilers. So here, let me play this. If you have not seen Loki, if you have not seen Black Widow, you might want to turn down your radio for the next 8 minutes or so and then download the podcast later once you've seen Loki and Black Widow, because we're about to spoil it for you. So, without much further ado, here we go. Spoiling Loki out of the gate in 3, 2. All right. Oh, my God. Duh.
Oh, my God.
It's like the Easter egg episode from hell. I mean, the Thanos copter. Who puts the Thanos
copter? Oh,
I mean,
it's canon now. Oh,
it is unbelievable how much stuff was in this thing. Like, I watched it like 3 times now, and I would keep pausing it and trying to look and see what else I would see in the background. But you get more information as to what's going on now, and like they are one step away, one episode away from finding out who is behind the curtain in the magical land of Oz or the Void. Take your pick. But man, Skungy, it's like old Lightning McQueen said, if you throw a rock in the void, you're gonna hit a Loki, and it's just, it is amazing. I don't even know where to start with all the Lokis. I mean, I guess let's start with the Izod alligator, because the next person who's at a con, if you do not make an Izod Loki polo shirt with the little horns, I don't know what you're doing. You're fired, because somebody needs to take my money and give me a Loki alligator polo. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, Skungy.
I've already ordered a shirt.
Oh, really?
That has the Loki out. It's the meme of the person yelling at the cat. You know, the cat yelling meme?
Oh, yeah.
But it's Loki without his hand yelling at the alligator with his hand on a plate.
That is awesome. Well, it all kind of, starts off with them, finding out, they bring him to their little secret base that is, just filled with even more Easter eggs down there. And I mean, there is so much stuff in this episode, but I think one of the things that the more poignant or more interesting aspects are when you've got, Mobius, Lightning McQueen, talking to old man Loki. What's his nuts? I forgot his name. Tell me you know it.
Richard E. Grant.
Thank you. When he says, some, people can change. And I think that's something where we've seen Loki. I'm going to go back to something I said about a month and a half ago, where I have always felt that this was the best Loki to go back in time. And because his branch in time, he's just got his ass handed to him by the Avengers. His glorious purpose has just been destroyed. And he's always backstabbed people, and now he's kind of seeing the fruits of his labor. Then he sees the future where he's supposed to die at the hands of Thanos. And it's like he's had a whole shift in his personality and in everything now, and he's, already on that road to redemption. But we find out that the old man Loki actually survived Thanos and then went off to just be alone and avoid everybody. And that gives our Loki a feeling of, hey, I might actually make it out of this thing alive.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was just to see the different variations of Loki and where he could go, and just the nods, the comic book, the politician Loki,
oh my God,
like you said, the high side Loki. You hit the nail on the head. There's just too many Easter eggs to talk about in one episode. There, it's like Marvel's like, you like Easter eggs? Here's a whole episode.
Well, and now looking at the what Marvel does, because it kind of rolls into the end credit trailer for Black Widow, was the fact that you've got we don't know who the big bad is, but we know that Kang the Conqueror is supposed to be the big bad in Quantumania with Ant-Man and Wasp.
Yeah.
Now, there are some, oh my God, I forgot what the future name of Kang is. He's like the Immortal or something like that. He's kind of like Kang with an extra millennia of experience under his belt. And there are thoughts that that's who they're going to meet, because then when you see Kang and Ant-Man, you can see the potential of how powerful this bad guy could be, which is probably the most character development that Marvel's ever done for a bad guy, with maybe the slight exception of Thanos. That's only because he had him in a couple of movies. But, you're seeing, and this is just all a guess, though. Honestly, part of me, and I'm probably going to be wrong, but I do want to put some money down on it, that I think it might be another Loki pulling the strings in the background. I honestly, part of me really thinks that it might be of like a version of Old Man Loki or something like that, who's pulling all these strings. I don't know. What do you think?
It could be. There is one thing, though, that was an Easter egg that if you blink and you missed it, and it's kind of like they brought it into canon now, you saw the statue head of the Living Tribunal.
Oh, yeah, the 3 heads, yes. That was hard to see.
And that's the most powerful entity in them, and one of the most powerful entities in the Marvel Universe. So it's like, well, could it be them? Who knows?
Right. I mean, and I am here for this because, you know what? I have no idea what they're going to do. And I think that's what's probably the most exciting portion of this show, is that, you just never know what's going to happen in here. And then just to know that Lightning McQueen survived and that Loki survived and all these things like
so
that.
Happy.
I know, right? And, at some point, I just want to see Mobius ride off into the sunset on his jet ski, and then all will be right in the world. So,
that's how the show should end.
It should. It just seemed to go. Zoom, zoom, zoom. All right, so Black Widow. We only got about like 2.5 minutes left in the show, Skungy. I don't know. It was okay. The movie was good. It wasn't like oh my god, best movie ever. It definitely hit all the comedic beats that you expect from a Marvel movie. There was a lot of funny things in there. Arbor.
Everything David Haber said was hysterical.
Yeah, and Harbor. I say Harbor. Is that what you're saying? Harbor, whatever. Yeah, Stranger Things. Yeah, the sheriff. Yeah, he was phenomenal. And the Budapest. I thought that was funny when they made fun of her for saying Budapest. Yeah. But we got a little bit more about what happened and her backstory. But I mean, I don't know. I was kind of unimpressed with what they did with Taskmaster, because I thought Taskmaster would be a bigger badass.
I agree.
I felt let down by that. I thought it worked well within the confines of the story, where it's like, oh, yeah, she's been beating herself up about killing a 10-year-old child her whole life. Turns out, it's the big bad. Yeah, great. It works for that story, but I don't think it works for the Marvel Universe and everybody who likes Taskmaster, who's supposed to be a serious badass, not a computer program where it's like, I'll put a chip in her neck. I'll put a chip in her neck.
Yeah, put a chip in her neck.
Shut up, I swear, dude. I don't know. And then, they crap all over the final memorial for Black Widow with her damn tomb out there, and,
Julia Louis-Dreyfus
shows up and kind of craps on the moment, but I do love her character. I really love Julia Louis-Dreyfus' character in this.
So that's the question I have. Is like, where is this going to go with that end credit?
Oh, the Dark Avengers. It's going to go to the Dark Avengers, where she's probably going to become the next Black Widow. You've got that a-hole U.S. agent now. He's basically the bad Captain America. You've got all these sort of things that are building the Dark Avengers. So that might be that'll be a cool exploration, because then you're turning the good guys into bad guys, and I think that would confuse and intrigue a lot of people. So I think I like
is
where
that
that's
a movie
going.
or is that going to be a TV?
No, it's going to be Phase 4, bro. It's going to be all of the above, but it's probably going to be all a part of the Phase 4 thing with Quantumania and the Multiverse of Madness stuff. So
yeah,
I don't know. I think it'll be awesome. All right, Skungy, we got to get the hell out of here. Next week, Skungy, I have Jamie Lee Curtis, the Scream Queen.
Shut the front door.
Oh, God, I thought you were about to say the other thing. Good Lord. Whew, that was close. You scared the crap out of me. Jamie Lee Curtis. Jamie Lee Curtis. And look, here's what's so funny. I've been working with Premiere Networks for so long now that when they emailed me, they said, hey, look, we can give her to you for 8 minutes, but no silly DJ games. I'm like, man, I feel personally attacked here. And I'm like, fine, I can be professional for like 8 minutes, fine, whatever. And then the week after
just for 8 minutes.
Exactly. The week after that, Robert Hayes, Striker. Robert Hayes, man.
From Airplane.
From Airplane, yes, sir. All right, there we go. So, till next time, keep your nerd flag raised high.